Hi everybody, welcome back to Inside Out Universe. I have a very, very special guest
How
with
special?
me. Super. I've been saying this 8 times in a row because we recorded this episode. We recorded half an hour of this episode, and then we realized that we, in fact, were not recording the episode.
And then we recorded half another hour, and then the cameras weren't recording.
And then the cameras weren't. So it's been. And honestly, last week I did a whole episode with his cousin, actually.
Yep.
And we basically have to record that all over again because I did such a horrible job that there's no audio.
Come on, you're doing great.
It's a one-man show, okay? I'm just going to say this. I have a newfound respect for people for podcasters in general. It looks a lot easier than it actually is, especially if you're doing it as a one-man show. Like, I do everything, lights, cameras, everything by myself, for now at least. And it's grueling. Like, there's a lot of things that like need to be in check. I broke the lights before we started, so now there's no lights. So if Roko looks a little ugly, it's because
it's the lights.
The lights. Otherwise, he's very handsome man.
I'm a handsome guy.
Handsome guy.
I'm a handsome guy.
Anyways, before we get distracted, my guest today, his name is Roko Santana. He's an artist, a musician, an audio engineer, a producer, a fire producer at that. He has many, many, many talents, and his best talent to this day is managing to stay friends with me for over a decade. So, yeah. So, Roko Santana, come on!
It's been a great journey.
Anyways.
Yo, that last one ended rough. Can we start on a lighter note?
Yeah, of course. We'll just let it flow out. Let it flow.
Let it flow.
Let it flow.
Alright, I'm down.
Maybe I shouldn't show my feet. No free feet shots.
Nah.
No free feet.
Gotta pay for that.
Apparently, there's like some internet thing of like, who told me this? Someone was like, oh, like, make sure you don't get your feet and stuff in pictures because, like, a lot of guys who have, like, foot fetishes and stuff will actually, like, basically use your feet photos to... You know what's funny? You know what's hilarious? I found this to be so funny. I love Facebook Market, right? So I go on Facebook Market a lot.
Did you find...
No, wait. And there was like... And I always read the bios of like everything. And like I like vintage stuff. So I saw like vintage shoes. And I was looking at them and I read the bio. And it said in all caps, it said, "Stop asking me for pictures of my feet."
Vintage shoes?
That's the part of the story that you got?
But how is she promoting it that people are asking her for feet pictures?
That's not the... First of all, why are you victim blaming? She's the victim in this story.
But what's happening?
She posted pictures of her like wearing the shoes, like pictures of like her, basically her shin down to like her foot. And apparently so many people were messaging her, asking her for pictures of her feet that she felt
because she posted that?
She posted the shoes. She was like wearing the shoes. And she literally had to put in her bio, like,
that's fucked.
"Stop asking for pictures of my feet." And then what do you... And then I brought this up to Ali and I was like, "Can you believe it?" And Ali was like, "Yeah, that's crazy." He's like, if you go on Facebook Market and search up wedding dresses, he's like, you can find a bunch of shorties that are just like recently divorced and stuff, and you could slide into their DMs. And I was like, you are the reason why this lady has had to do this.
It's knowledge.
Obviously he's joking.
Yeah. Why are you twitching?
Sure he is. I don't know. I don't want him to get canceled before he makes it.
Don't get canceled, my friend.
Don't.
It's a dirty game.
Ali's whole
Whole blah is blah.
No, Ali's whole brand is just
Cancellation?
Cancelable.
It could be.
That's crazy. So how are you doing?
I'm doing alright. I'm doing okay. I'm doing great, actually.
Oh, wow, that escalated.
It escalated, right? I'm doing great, yeah. Just balancing it. Just had to catch my breath.
Okay.
Yeah. Had to catch my breath real quick.
Do you feel better now?
I feel much better.
Because when we initially started the podcast, when I was setting up, I was getting frustrated.
I was shaking it.
And he was trying to help me, and I got mad at him, and I was like, "Sit down." And then I had the audacity after I was done setting everything up to look at him and say, "You ready?" And then he looked at me and he was like, "I need a minute."
No, you said, "Are you vexed?"
No, I said,
Which means, are you
I've
mad?
never in my life used the word vexed. So.
You did.
No, I didn't. I said, "Are you ready?" And you were like, "I need a minute."
And I did need a minute.
Yeah. Well,
when you
had
asked me,
30
it felt better. When you asked me, I felt okay.
We gotta keep an eye on everything to make sure it's recording, at all times.
Right?
I'm gonna.
It's recording, right? That we were good with.
Yeah, I just wanted to turn it towards myself. Stop touching Steph. Stop it.
I'm kind of proficient at them type things.
You're not proficient at anything
Nothing.
on my podcast. This is my podcast.
Yeah, it's a one-man show.
It's a one-woman show.
One woman.
Hop.
Oh, no, it's not good.
You're not right. Is there anything that you do want... Okay, before I start bringing up random shit, because I will, is there anything that you in particular want to talk about?
I just love to appreciate you for all that you've been doing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You've been a great part of my life, you know?
Oh, leave this for the end. Wait to the end. At the end, at the end when we're saying bye, then you can tell everybody how much you love me.
I do want to mention that this is one of my first times that I'm really like putting my all into a camera, where I'm showing like me.
Yeah, he used to do pornos in the past.
Yeah, that wasn't part of who I am, you know.
He's not who he is anymore.
Yeah, this is
no, I'm kidding.
Me.
He's obviously a musician, so he's used to this aspect of it.
Yeah, I'm used to the camera. I'm used to like promoting my music in front of the camera, but you know that kind of gets dull after a while. I want to show who I am, and this is my first time.
Yeah, but you're so awkward.
Am I?
Yeah.
How awkward am I right now from a scale of 1 to 10?
No, you know what bothers me? Okay.
What's up?
Roko's like a very, like, if you, like, we have a really big friend group, and, like, our friend group is really, really friggin' dope, and I'm not just saying this because I'm biased, because every single person that stepped into our friend group, including my ex, was, like, he would blatantly say, one of my favorite things about you is your group of friends. Like, we just have, like, such a sick, like, friend group.
Yeah.
And everybody has the thing that makes it sick is that everybody is really, first of all, really weird.
Yeah.
In their own way.
Yeah.
Like, weird, crazy friends. And everybody has their own, like, brand, so to say. Roko's brand is that, like, he's very, like, raw. He likes everything, like, natural. Like, even when it comes to, like, being in nature, interacting with nature. Raw dogging.
Just raw dogging.
Like, making, like, raw, like, dope music. Like, he doesn't like to, like, follow trends, so to say. Like, he likes to just do whatever. And, like, in that, like, sense of, like, being authentic and, like, being raw, that's kind of, like, his brand.
Yeah.
But the thing with Roko also is that, like, when you know him as a person, he's so funny and so dope to be around. Soon as you turn on a camera, he's like, yo. Yo,
it's good, shorty.
Why do you do this? Do you get nervous?
You know, you want to know something interesting about me?
Sure.
Oh, you'd love to hear this.
Tell me.
Do you remember your first impression of me?
No.
You don't remember, right?
Yeah, I do.
Crazy. So what was your first impression?
Well, I met you like a really, really long time ago.
Yeah,
like 13 years now.
So, yeah. So what was your first
My
impression?
first impression of you was like, he's like a quiet, awkward kid.
Exactly. So I do have a shield at first, but once that shield goes away, Lord have mercy. So it's kind of...
More than 13 years? You need more than 13 years to dump your shield?
No. The shield goes away like after a few interactions. But first impression, I'm not as approachable as you think. You just don't remember. It's not about a camera. This is just about like overall.
Yeah, but I'm asking you, why are you awkward on camera?
So to me, a camera... Well, if I'm going to like break down how I feel about it, is like... It's kind of like a first impression, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a first impression. So I do need a lot of time in front of camera for some reason to get comfortable, and
was
that's
the 30
kind of
minutes unrecorded good enough for you to have warmed up?
It really was. Like, that's what it takes though. Like, it does take a second for me to warm up to people, to camera is people, you know what I mean? You're talking to a whole population.
I mean, that's the goal, but as of right now, it's my mom and our friends.
Come on.
Our 7 friends that are watching.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's going to be worldwide. You didn't like that, huh? Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mommy.
Hi, Mom. I hope you like this podcast.
This is where I would love to have my mom on the podcast.
She would be great.
Yeah, she would be great. My mom is such a fantastic
She would have so much to say, and she not even so much to say. It's just so much wisdom just by existence. She would just be the wisdom by existence.
My mom's not a chatter though.
That's exactly why I said that. I said her existence is very.
Yeah, but you can't come on my podcast and just exist.
You can't. You're gonna bring Kobe into your podcast.
With somebody. Kobe is their dog. Obviously with somebody, not Kobe on his own.
But you wouldn't interview Kobe? I feel like he would have a lot to say.
Don't be weird. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Don't be weird.
Alright. Alright.
You know what's funny? We were talking
it's recording,
about this.
Right? Hold on.
Yes, it's recording. You're the guest. Mind your business.
Alright.
That's production business.
Alright.
You're not the producer here. Alright. Anyways, you know something funny? We were talking about it with Amir yesterday.
Yeah.
And like, Ali is like one of our friends who's like does the editing and stuff for the videos and everything too. And he's also an artist. Like he's more like on the visual end of things. And we were talking about how like he's such a funny person. Like his brand sometimes is actually just the fact that he's really funny. And we were talking about this with Amin. We've never seen Ali more vexed than he is when you make people laugh. And the reason, whenever it's gotten to a point where we were talking about it with Ami, like we look at each other when he does this. You'll make people laugh and we'll look at Ali to see what his reaction is because he genuinely gets vexed. And to be honest, this is why our friend group is so dope. He's explained to us why he gets vexed. He says, I've tried my entire life to be funny. He's like, my whole personality as a kid was to be funny. He's like, I've read books and watched funny movies, come up with all these different things. And he goes, I try so hard to be funny and to make you guys laugh. And then all of a sudden, Roko comes out the next room and just says, blah, 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 and then everybody starts laughing. And I kind of feel bad for him because he's kind of right.
But yo, listen, I've taken this shit very seriously too. Back in my younger days, I really wanted to.
You have a very different sense of humor.
Exactly.
Than Ali.
But you know what though? I love making people laugh with Ali. That shit slaps.
Ali doesn't feel the same.
Damn.
Ali would rather you were a consumer.
No, man. I switch genres. I switch genres. If you want, like I could switch genres to different types of humor.
I told Ali this. I was like, Roko will follow the line of joking that you're going. Ali's more not like that. Ali more so imposes a vibe, and it works because he's so funny and like aggressive about it. But Roko's like a vibe follower. He follows the vibe, and then like he makes the vibe so dope that he ends up leading the vibe. But like you don't impose. Ali likes to like impose, like
determine vibe.
what people should laugh at.
But I don't mind that. I follow that too.
He even.
But you know what? Sometimes I don't always do that. I won't lie. I just be a dickhead sometimes.
No, sometimes you will. But you know what's funny? I've had times where Ali's asked me if like he's like, how do you laugh at his jokes? Sometimes
he laughs at my jokes.
I know.
That's what you talk about, Willis.
No, sometimes when you make those random jokes of like you go too far with like a joke, he'll look at me and see me laughing, and he'll be like, how do you laugh at his jokes? Or like sometimes he'll be like, you know the thing that Ali does where he goes like, where he doesn't really want to laugh, he go like. He'll do like a like that type of vibe. Yeah. He does that, and I feel kind of bad. I'm like, oh.
Nah, man, I put in reps for this.
I'm funny too.
You're hilarious.
What kind of funny am I?
Look. You got professional jokes.
I got professional jokes.
You sound like you do this shit for a living sometimes.
Oh really?
Yeah, you sound like you be funny for a living.
You think so?
Yeah, like you're a professional funny. You know what's hilarious?
What?
I've never laughed so hard when you call that girl stupid. Stupid. Nah, like
Yeah,
that
Roko
shit
was telling me about
hilarious.
how he was like, he goes to school with this girl, and he was like, and I met her when I went to one of his like performances, and I was like, and then I asked Roko about her, and I was like how is she doing or whatever. Roko was like, she's good. She was gonna graduate this year, but she failed the course, so like now she has to stay. She's gonna graduate like later.
But knowing like. Oh man.
He's like she's gonna graduate later or whatever. This doesn't matter. How did it get to that joke?
I was just like, you're gonna see her next year and be like, "What's up, stupid?"
Yeah, I was like, yo, next time you see her, you should just go up to her and be like, "What's up, stupid?"
What up, stupid? Like, come on, man. No, but in that moment, she embodied that shit. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, I envision. Yeah, sometimes you dig into someone's
Whose
brain
sense of
and
humor
you just,
do you think is darker, me, yours, or Ali's?
Dark sense of humor. Yours and Ali's definitely. They're like differently dark.
I think Ali's is darker than mine.
Differently dark. But Ali like goes for the dark sometimes, like dark humor. Like
we were at the cottage one time and Ali
that.
brings all of us and he goes, guys, come. He sits us all down. He brings out a plate and he had like little rubber babies like from the dollar store on it. And he was like, we're sacrificing babies.
Yeah, I don't want to sing the anthem.
That's
a recipe for cancellation.
What was the anthem? Balenciaga
at the end of it.
But yeah, that was really funny.
That's crazy.
Ali edits these, so if he doesn't want to include that, he won't.
Imagine he gets one of those like short clips.
But like, I don't understand. Okay, let's talk about this cancel culture. How do you feel about cancel culture?
Dog shit.
Okay.
Nah,
that's such an uncultured response.
I just wanted to just drop that in. Cancel culture. I mean, there's certain points to keeping people accountable for their actions, but people power trip. That's the problem, and that's when cancel culture becomes what it's not, like what it ain't supposed to be.
Which is what?
Which is basically, if you don't agree with me or if you don't think how I think, you're canceled. Oh, this guy's stupid, whatever, and like there's a whole movement canceling someone. Plus, if a community of people don't like another person, they could literally make up a whole agenda around canceling that person, even though there's shit out for everybody to get canceled. So it's kind of like it turned into keeping each other accountable kind of vibe into
like a
power trip. People be power tripping, like, oh, I can cancel you ain't shit without me.
Which I actually like that aspect of cancel culture.
I do, but it's a power trip that I don't like.
I agree with that. One thing, that aspect that you're talking about, that aspect of cancel culture I do like, because I think it's really important to like remind like brands and celebrities and these people that are on like high platforms that like the reason why they're there is because we put them there.
Yeah.
And I think that that's important for people to realize, because a lot of these celebrities get somewhere, or not even celebrities, honestly, like influencers, you know, will get somewhere and then they will completely become out of touch and forget like why they're even there. Yeah. You're there because you provide a service. You know what I mean? So if there was a hierarchy, even now that I'm making, for example, a podcast, I would be below the viewers.
100%.
Because in a way, if you like break it down and put it into like simple terms, you guys are paying me to provide a service to you guys, which is to entertain you guys, to whatever. So if there was a power hierarchy, I would be below you.
I agree, but it's never the viewers. It's always someone from the outside who jumps on the bandwagon. That's the problem.
It's consumers. You have to be a consumer to cancel.
So it's never the view. Like if it was genuinely that's
what
love.
What do you mean? It is viewers. When people get canceled,
it's viewers, but it's not your people. It's not your people who cancel. It's not the people that got you there. You can't say that
because it's a lot of different circumstances and scenarios.
It could be. Honestly, if my fans canceled me, I would be really sad. But if some people canceled me over something I said, it depends on the situation, but it's a high possibility that they just want to cancel me and show me that they're capable of canceling me.
I think honestly, like if it's a matter of people showing me that I'm able to be canceled, like okay, whatever.
They keep you in check, yeah.
Because that's like, okay, yeah, cool. Like, You know what I mean? Like that, I agree with. I'm like, okay, yeah, like humble me. If I'm ever not being humble,
that's fine. Yeah,
humble me. That's fine.
That's fine.
The thing that I think is really messed up is that like, and I've talked about this briefly with like Matop in a different context, where I was like, I think one of the biggest problems with our society and our culture is that people don't stand on the things they say. And an extension of that is that I think that people don't understand the impact and the influence of words. Yeah. They don't understand that. They don't understand that if you're mad at somebody, if you're whatever, you can't just get on social media and say whatever and do whatever and cancel them and do this and do that. I wish that people understood that like we all have like a civic, almost like a civic duty to each other, and we have to all abide by certain principles. Yeah. And I think that one of those principles is what I think a really important thing that's like shattering like our society now is that like I don't have to think what you think. I don't have to. You can't cancel me for disagreeing with me. You can't cancel me because I think a certain way or I've spoke my truth. You know what I mean? You can only like really cancel me for how I think. If the way that I think is corrupt in some way, or something that you think is not a way to, it's not something to promote on social media, or you as the consumers don't support that line of thinking.
Don't cancel me.
But that's, you know what though, but canceling it in a way, as sad as it is, obviously, like being that I've started this platform, obviously I would like, my biased side is like fuck cancel culture, because I don't ever want to get to that. But then my rational side is like, no, if the viewers and the consumers are the people that put you up here, they should be able to bring you down when they feel like you're no longer serving a purpose. When they feel like you're no longer doing good. Yeah. When that decision is a calculated, rational decision that has come from a critical line of thinking, I'm okay with that. But if it's because your emotions are inflamed because I disagree with you, that's a very egotistical and like messed up way to cancel somebody. Whereas like if somebody's misusing social media, I understand. I guess it's a blurred line, but like I know what I mean by that. I don't know if I'm putting it into words correctly.
No, I get what you're saying, but I would love to not be at a disconnect with people. You know what I mean? And that's what happens a lot of times when you get a lot of people following you. Mm-hmm. I don't have that experience, but I could just imagine that it gets harder and harder to connect with everybody. You know what I mean? So
when you have a platform?
Yeah, so you do end up becoming a persona. You know what I mean? You do end up having to be accountable towards a persona that you just created, because so and so amount of people are like following that. That's kind of the edgy subject, because people might like staying authentic in those moments is so important, because I'm not perfect, I'm gonna make mistakes, and I'm being courageous enough to be in front of camera. So if I'm making a mistake, call me out for it, correct me, don't cancel me, because I'm willing to get corrected. I'm willing to have that conversation. I'm willing to fuck up and be corrected for it. Don't have a cancel culture. Maybe have a more, don't be at a disconnect with someone who's as much as like you put yourself below the viewer. I get that, but you're still creating, you're putting your soul into your work for the viewer. I understand that,
but to be honest with you, I personally don't find myself to be accountable to anybody. I don't think I'm accountable to anybody, because my connection, my accountability is to myself. Yeah. And I've aligned everything I do, everything I say to a very, very like particular line of thinking and principles that I've developed over years of trying to be a well-rounded human being. Mm. So if now me acting in alliance with that is something that you don't agree with anymore, maybe this is not a place for me anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's fine. I think that that's actually the problem, because a lot of times you get a lot of creators that do are getting canceled and come out with apology videos and they don't mean it.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? In those kind of circumstances, I would rather be canceled than say something I don't mean.
I see what you're saying. That's a good point, because a lot of people who have the attention and fame, they get attached to it. you know, and you can't get attached to the fame, you know what I mean? You maybe when it's time for you to shine, but when that time ends, don't be mad about it. Just
walk out gracefully. That's what we were talking about the other day too. Like, you know what? Like, I will say this because I've thought about this a lot. Like, it is very, very hard to be, and I'm sure you understand this because you're a musician. It is very, very hard to be in the public space in that sense, like being famous, being out there, even utilizing social media in that way. It's really hard because you have to maintain a certain balance that in a lot of times, and I've also done this before when I was also making music and whatever. And a lot of times this balance feels almost impossible because you have to a certain extent, tap into what people want from you because you're like, this is my audience. These are my people. You know what I mean? I have to listen to them. I'm catering to them. I'm providing a service to them. You know, these are the people that support me. So I need to give them what they want too. So you're receptive. You become like, you open yourself up to criticism because you want to provide what your audience wants, and that comes from like a really wholesome and like very vulnerable part. But then again, when you open yourself up to criticism and to these maybe good constructive things, you also end up letting the shitty bad negative things seep in. And when the shitty, like the voices that come of like, oh, maybe I should do this, maybe they want to see this, maybe I shouldn't do this, and the more of those seep in, the more disconnected you end up getting.
I agree. And something I've learned that I truly believe in is that authenticity is the most powerful vibration.
Vibration.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
So, like,
you embody that.
I hope so.
Yeah, you do. I hope so.
Let
me drive the boat.
I hope so. Let me drive the boat.
That's funny.
Yeah, but that's what that's when the disconnect, I feel like, comes in, is when you basically something about you, as maybe a small part of your personality, catches on. You know what I mean? And then you're basically as authentic as you want to be. People kind of like reinforce you. It's not that like you consciously do it. Sometimes people like reinforce that out of you, and people, I noticed like it becomes a job where you have to show up and show out as that person, but then you have this whole personality to you that it's taking you away from that powerful vibration that got you there, because that's the vibration that gets you the fame and you popping off, is the authentic energy. You know what I mean? It's you. It's never someone fake. I don't care what anyone says. It's never faking it that gets you there. It's always the realest you that
maybe
gets you.
Maybe shock value in some cases, but then again, that's but like even 5 the shock value,
the shock value is kind of like authentic. You laugh, you genuinely laughed at something
because you're like, this person's authentic.
You're in your element.
Yeah, like the Catch Me Outside girl.
Yeah, she was in her vibe. She was in her element.
Yeah. At that time, that was her truth. Like that was.
That was 100%. That's how she talked. That's how she talked at home. That's how she talked outside. Like that's just how she was.
I never hated her.
I didn't hate her either.
There was a lot of people that were hating on her for like being like the way. First of all, she's so young. I could never hate somebody that young. Like that's weird. Like how are you gonna
back to cancel culture? People are very opinionated.
Yeah, but you know what though? That doesn't have. This is the thing. A lot of times, I think this is a philosophical argument. Okay, I think a lot of our problems stem from the fact that everything we do is a Band-Aid solution. Okay, and when I say that, I mean, yeah, technically, if you want to cut off your line of thinking in like a shallow way, yeah, cancel culture is the problem in situations like that. But if you actually go deeper with it, it's not about cancel culture. It's the fact that people don't feel any sense of duty towards each other. You know what I mean? People don't understand that, like, this life that I'm living, this life that is so valuable to me, this life that I wake up every morning fighting for, this person is also fighting for.
Yeah.
So I can't just open my mouth and ruin somebody's livelihood. Ruin everything they've worked for. Shit on their dreams and you know what that does to people? A lot of times when these cancel things happen, I'm like, and I know this is like obviously an extreme thing, and I'm sorry if this is like a trigger warning type thing, but I I wonder sometimes, I'm like, do people who do these things and take these cancel culture things this far ever think about what if this person commits suicide? What if that podcast or that whatever that person had was everything they've put their heart and soul into, was whatever, and over one little mistake or one big mistake or even anything, that person has nothing. And like, how would that people would be so quick to be like, oh, RIP, like whatever, this and that. But it's like, people don't consider their duty to each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need to take the things that you say more seriously.
Yeah.
So like, if I say something wrong, which I probably will, don't punish me for it by just, you know, trying to eliminate me from the face of this earth. You know what I mean? If you actually feel like overall I serve no purpose, I have no business being in this, if you actually have arrived at that decision after a clear, critical line of thinking, sure, I'll walk out myself gracefully. But if it's just because something I said like rubbed you the wrong way,
it happens all the time.
Yeah, it's insane.
And it's not just something that thing that you said that rubbed you the wrong way could come out of anywhere. You know, people do like 30 interviews in a year. Who knows who can pull what out of what you said.
That's true. But also, like, no matter what I say or what I do or how horrible it is, which I've been on the receiving end, I've been on the end where I've said and done stupid things where I have grown from. Either way, you don't have the right to per se cancel someone. You know what I mean? If the opinion of the public in general is that like you don't belong in that space anymore, and they genuinely stop consuming your material, then after your material, when your time is up, you'll know it.
Facts.
But this going on a spree of like cancel this person and actively pursuing ruining somebody's life, that's fucked up.
That's vicious.
If you get to a point, exactly, when you get to a point where I'm no longer for you,
cool,
dude,
man,
stop, unfollow me, block me, move on. Man. And if other people agree with you, they'll do the same thing.
That's facts. And if you really, really love that person, like as a fan, obviously, like you don't know them in person. As a fan, if you really love that person, just correct them. Don't cancel them. You know?
Yeah.
Like, if on the both sides, there's corrections that need to be made for humanity to move forward. On the consumer side, people have to be okay to either walk away or correct the person that they're a fan of. But on the creator side, I would be okay with, like, before going into this or going into anything, I would kind of get calloused with rejection. If you get calloused with rejection, I feel like you have it in you to walk away and be like, okay, this is, I guess my time is over. And I feel like that allows you to be authentic. Being calloused with rejection, I feel like.
But you know what it is, though? It's not necessarily rejection. Like, people don't understand that you don't always have to say something. You don't always have to speak on things. Yeah. And nowadays, if you say that, people are like, "What do you mean? You have to be a revolutionary and do this and do this." It's like that's not how it always works. No, sometimes, if you genuinely do what you genuinely feel is right for you. This person is no longer aligned with your values. You no longer want to consume their material. You are not buying what they're selling anymore. Step away. See, observe if the masses agree with you. If they do, the person producing this content or whatever you disagree with will get the hints. Yeah. I did something reprehensible where people don't want to consume my material anymore. Let it be authentic. You owe everybody in your community and in life a duty to allow them to come to their own conclusion. But people don't understand that a lot of times when you talk, things become more of a trend than they do of like something from an authentic place. A person who's mad at something will say something, it'll catch like a forest fire. And people who wouldn't have even ordinarily thought that way now do think that way because it's a trend. Yeah. So just be quiet. Do what's right for you. If I'm not for you anymore for whatever reason, do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I mean when I say like cancel culture. Like, I don't mind cancel culture. If you don't want to consume me anymore, cool. What I do mind is what you said, is it being so vicious.
It's vicious. It's like a war. Like, there's no, and that comes from lack of connection. Honestly, anything can get fixed with a level of connection. When you spend enough time around someone, you could immerse yourself in their story and be like, you could understand people when you connect. And people become fucked up because they lack connection.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So if there's a disconnect between you and the fans, then that's the problem. If there's a disconnect between you and the population, that's the problem. If there's a disconnect between you and your wife, that's the problem. There's a lot of problems that could have you acting a certain way.
Yeah.
And when these connections get fixed, which take a lot of work to build that connection, rebuild a connection, you know what I mean? I feel like we have that duty to each other as humans. You know what I mean?
But I feel like people don't understand don't have that connection with each other because they don't have that connection with themselves. If you as a human knew how painful these things were, if you had gotten off of your high horse to consider what this person, to consider where that person might be in their life to make that decision, however wrong, if you were able to meet them there, you could connect with them.
Yeah, straight up.
If you could meet that person there, you could connect with them. You know, and like, I don't think that a lot of people, so that's what I mean, a lot of this cancel thing doesn't come from righteousness. It comes from ego. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you're not righteous. You're egotistical is what you are. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's a crazy thing. I really don't think that people understand that, like sometimes, you know, I think that if you quietly, if you don't want to, like what we talked about, if you don't want to consume someone, you quietly step away. Maybe other people do that. The producer or whoever it is that's providing that material, or whoever has that platform, steps away, canceled like that, cool. I think if it gets to a point where you want to speak up about it, I think the right thing to do is only speak up about it if you've already spoken to that person about it. If you've already tried to speak to, like, if I tried to correct you, let's say, as Roko, and I was like, hey, listen, like, coming from like a sympathetic side of, like, not like a cancel culture, but of like a have you ever thought about it this way, or you know, like, I'm hurt by this thing that you said, like, could you, whatever. If we came each other like that, and at that point I realized that you were clearly not being receptive to my point, maybe at that point, I would make my position public. You know what I mean? Because I also agree that, like, you could, a lot of times you think that certain thing is your duty to also speak up. Yeah. You know what I mean? So when I'm saying, like, be quiet and just keep it to yourself, I don't mean always do that. I mean just until you gather all the information you need, all the pieces you need. Yeah. So if you try to reach out to the person and the person's also not being is set on their point, then if you feel like that is somehow destructive to public or to whatever, make your own platform, speak on it, let people choose.
I agree.
Let people choose, but don't attack the person. Make your own platform, make your point, let people choose.
I have this new thing that I live by. I say, like, truth will set you free. You know what I mean? No matter how harsh the truth is.
You get that tattooed on your forehead?
Yo, I was actually trying to get that tattoo, not on my forehead. Here, I don't know. Somewhere I can always see it, and the reason I always want to see it is because, no matter how much I think that, I still need reminders. That truth will set you free, and that's something good to remind yourself of. The truth will set you free, no matter how, like, how much you don't want to accept it. And a lot of times truth is a lot more of a gray area than a black and white, and people don't do their, not so often do you find people that do their due diligence to find what the truth is. And once you find the truth, it's not as black and white as you think. It's not always fuck this guy all the way or ride with this guy all the way. No, there's some dirty things about everyone. There's some great things about dirty people, and there's some dirty things about great people. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
you should get that tattooed if it actually resonates
with you. It resonates with me a lot.
My version of that is, I forgot the exact quote, but I remember I brought it up to you, but like it applies to this situation too, is like, if you speak to the king in somebody, that's the side of them that you will see. If you speak to the fool in somebody, that's the side of them that you will see.
I did that to me.
I love you.
Love you.
You're still a fool though. Fool, you fucking fool. Anyways, before Ali goes on like a thing of like, bro, you guys talked about this topic for so long. Ali thinks like just because he edits my podcast that I'm personally making podcasts for him. He thinks this is
yeah, Ali, we're giving you bare gems.
He's like, yo, next time give me a little bit more like a little bit less E, you know? He's funny.
So let's give him E.
Let's give him some E. Do you?
Yeah.
Is that what you thought?
No, I do. You want to say, do I have anything I want to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? We're not done yet, by the way.
No, I know.
What do you want to say?
I was just gonna say how the gym shaped your mentality.
My ass. My art.
My art.
Okay, so you want to talk about how the gym shaped my mentality?
Yeah. Pre-gym Donia, post-gym Donia. What outside of the gym did change from that?
Can you rephrase your question in a way that doesn't sound so stupid?
See, I get awkward when you say shit like that.
I was just thinking the audacity of me asking you why are you awkward and then letting you talk and say, can you phrase it in a way that's less stupid?
It's a joke, like, you know. No, I don't like when you talk to them. So.
Go ahead, tell me what was your question?
So pre-gym Donia and then post-gym Donia.
What was my mentality then? What's my mentality now?
Yes.
As it pertains to the gym or in general?
In general. Actually, as it does not pertain to the gym. Like, what effects did you see in your day-to-day life and how you approach things?
You know what's funny? Like, I was always the type of person where like I needed things to be like crazy and big and like extreme for me to like notice them. Mm-hmm. So even changes or occurrences that happened in my life, I needed them to like slap me in order for me to realize like their significance. But then I remember one time we've seen this, we were watching like a Jordan Peterson like talk, and he was talking about how like your life is not the big moments. Your life is all the little moments that you repeat every single day that essentially make up your life. So he was like, your life with your wife, for example, is not like, and I think like this is not verbatim, but he was like, it's not about the dates you go on. It's about how you greet each other when you come home. Yeah, yeah. Because you do that a lot more than you go on dates, you know? Yes. To me, pre-gym, I didn't have that mentality. Pre-gym, I was a very like, I need to get big wins in order to celebrate. Yeah. And in order to be proud of myself. Wow. But like post gym, my mentality is more so like Donia's not all of the big happy things that happen to her. She's all of the little wins that she chooses every day. Yeah. And so like now post gym, I'm a lot more of like, okay, maybe I'm not exactly where I want to be right now. But also of like, but at least every day I'm making some decisions that are the best decision for me. Yeah. And the gym really like accustomed me with that line of thinking. Yeah. Because like 7 out of 10 gym days might be bad days, but you're still there. It depends. They're all pretty much bad. Like in the sense of like going hard and like, it's not, that's what I try to tell Ali. Like, I don't know if everybody experienced, but it's not pleasant. Like the activity itself is not pleasant. Yeah. There's no particular joy that I get from lifting weights or whatever. Yeah. It's like when I'm in that mentality, like I'm not me. I'm who I want to be. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like I love that because there's only so many moments in your life where you feel like you're not you. You're who you want to be. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Did you use that mentality in bringing the podcast together? Like, did that assist you in any kind of way, or was that just pure you power? Well, it is all pure you power, but did that add anything to it?
Of like when I do the podcast, I feel like I'm not me. I'm who I want to be.
No, like in creating like bringing the podcast together. You had this vision you want to create inside out,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and taking it step by step and then just perfecting every step.
Yeah, it definitely, like before, like I said, like I was a lot less willing to do things that didn't have instant gratification.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though you've seen me, I've studied many years, I've whatever, this, and that. But those were all things that I don't know how other people are, but you know this about me. I love studying. So to me, it was instantly gratifying. You know what I mean? Like, I like learning. I like the interactions. I like the networking. I like the whatever. So that got me through school. But overall, I was always the kind of person who, like, it not necessarily instant, but like I want to do... my line of thinking was that, like, if I want to be authentic, I have to do things that feel good to me, like, in every single moment. You know what I mean?
That's so huge.
Yeah, and like that helped with the podcast because it was like for months, like I was saving every single dime I made to put into the podcast and like buying everything and like planning everything and like talking to people and making sure that because you know me, if I start something, it cannot fail. I have to see it through. You know? So in that sense, it helped me. What about you? Did the gym change your mindset?
The gym was kind of I feel like when I started gymming, I knew it was the first thing I needed to do to turn my life around.
To go to the gym?
Yeah. For some reason, I knew it's the first thing I need to do. Even though there's so many factors in your life that you have to take care of and attend to in order to be able to turn your life around. For me, I intuitively know that gym is the first step. And
I like Jim. Jim's a nice guy.
Jim's a nice guy. I love Jim. Solid dude.
But yeah, you're right about that.
But I instantaneously knew that that's the first step I need to take. And then I knew what happened with me after the gym. I knew, like, I have one aspect of my well-being that's on a roll. You know what I mean? I don't have to think about it. You know, because my gym is on point, my diet's gonna be either like relatively off but better than before.
It's habit stacking.
It's stacked together. And then I wasn't thinking about, so it's really good to go through your day knowing you're taken care of. You know what I mean? But before, I felt like I'm going through my day and I'm not taken care of. Like, you know what I mean? I might be in really bad shape. My system should be breaking by now, but I'm just going through it. And I feel like that wasn't a good mentality. That was a great first step just to ensure that whatever I'm like going through in my day, you know what I mean? No matter how many things I'm balancing, I know like my body's taken care of. You know what I mean? And the fact that I know my body's taken care of, I'm like, okay, I made something out of nothing. It's such a visual, easy thing to look at, to just visually see making something out of nothing.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And then when I made something out of nothing there, that made me realize that I can do that in other areas in my life
too.
You know what I mean?
For me, it's like sometimes I think I'm like, if everything fails today, and if I do everything wrong today, and if I don't do what I need to do today, if today's a horrible day, at least I know I did one thing right.
Yeah. And at least you're healthy.
Which is, I went to the gym, you know? And you're right. It's it provides, like, you know, like, honestly, like, I was like, when I was a bartender, there was this guy that I was talking to at the bar, and he was like telling me about how, like, I told you about this, where he was like, his friend screwed him out of a whole bunch of money and whatever, and it was getting to a point where, like, he was basically telling me that, like, he didn't want to be alive anymore. And I know this might sound ridiculous to a lot of people, but like literally, like, when my way of comforting him was like, the first thing I said to him is, I was like, you should go to the gym. I literally looked at him and I was like, I know this sounds ridiculous and I'm sorry if you hate me for it or if it's the wrong thing to say, but you should go to the gym. And when I'm telling you, sometimes when you say something and you look in someone's eyes and you just know that they understood what you said the way that you intended it.
Yeah.
He literally looked at me and he was like, I know. And we both knew that it had nothing to do with the physical aspect of it. It was just like, I was basically telling him that, like, because he was like at a point in his life where he had to start from zero again. He had lost everything. His friends, his money, his parents, his family, everything was just scattered. Yeah. And like the reason he understood that, what I meant by that is, you need a backbone, you need a structure, you need something solid to build other things around.
And that backbone is you.
And the gym is the easiest way to do that, because all it is there's no being in here, there's no being in here. It's just use your body. Just start with that. Just go to the gym and do literal, like, physical, like, manual labor. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Just start there, and then everything else just gets stacked on top.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, in that sense, the gym was huge for me too.
Yeah. And even as an artist, creation process is really like, it's an interesting thing, because you don't start with something great ever. You know what I mean? Maybe you do. I won't say ever, but there's always a struggle phase. Mm-hmm. But just being accustomed to a struggle phase, that knowing that the flow is coming, is so big in creativity. It's just the inner knowing, like, you know what I mean? It makes you know deep down inside. That's how I use gym in my artistry. You know what I mean? I'm like, if it's a bad day and I push through it, I'm gonna walk out happy. You know what I mean? Same thing. I'm in the studio, I take that mentality with me. I'm in school, I learn concepts that are too difficult for me to understand. I take that same mentality with me, as if I know what it feels like. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's hard to tell someone to feel like that if you're not familiar with it.
Yeah. I don't know, like, I recommend to it's so funny, because I think that a lot of people, when you tell them about, like, like, obviously, like, not unwarranted advice, because nobody likes that, but like when we talk to our own group of friends and stuff, and we're like, you guys should go to the gym, or you guys should come to the gym with us, or whatever. I think a lot of people don't understand that, like, it has nothing to do with the physical aspect of it. Like, that's your own personal journey of, like, whether you're happy with how you look physically and you want to change it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's your own whatever. But just the mentality of, like getting up every day and doing something that you physically don't want to do. Mm-hmm. Just getting used to the idea of, like, pushing through. And it sucks when you first wake up, and it sucks when you're first whatever, but then once you fall into, like, a flow state, and then it helps you build, like, a rapport with yourself. This is one thing that I think is so funny, that, like, to think about, but, like, people think a lot about the way they treat other people, their relationships with other people, the way they relate to other people. They work on that a little, for good or for worse. They work on that. How do I want to manage people, manipulate them, or be a good friend to them, or be whatever? They choose how to whatever. People don't choose intentionally what kind of relationship they want to have with themselves. And, like, when you treat yourself, like, I'm not even saying, like, the cliche of, like, when you treat yourself how you want to be treated, or whatever. That's not what I mean. I mean, like, when you treat yourself as an avatar, almost as an avatar that you have to cater to, when you, like, come out of your body and, like, observe and, like, cater to yourself the way that you would want to cater to your avatar, you start to build a rapport with yourself. You know what I mean? You start to trust your intuition more. You start to, your mind doesn't play as much games with you anymore, because your mind trusts you now. Yep. You know what I mean? Your body is, so you get your mind, your brain, and your heart, and your spirit, and your physical existence, and everything, they become aligned. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And the gym is so big for that, because it's like constantly telling yourself of, like, I really don't want to do this, but, like, I'm doing this for you. And it's, like, such a loving thing of, like,
it's such a big spiritual awakening.
It's like getting up in the morning. Best form. Yeah, it's like getting up in the morning and driving your kids to school.
Yeah, you're driving yourself to school.
No, they can see that you're not, like, you don't enjoy it. Like, you wake up, you're fucking in a robe and whatever, and that's okay. But they grow up knowing that, like, my mom got up every single day and drove me to school, even when she didn't want to. Yeah. and that makes a child feel so loved.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the gym. She woke up every day and took me to the gym. Took my avatar to the gym. Yeah, it's funny.
When you feel loved by yourself,
you don't need nobody.
You don't need no, I don't say that.
You don't need nobody.
That shit crazy.
What? What?
Give him a little singy sing.
Should I do the thing that I figured out I could do the other day? What was it?
It's completely wiped out. Huh?
What was it? What was it?
But it was a lower. It was a higher pitch. Yeah. You get in there.
But how did I do it?
You just clenched and unclenched your vocal cord, but very fast.
I can't do it anymore.
It's gone.
I'm sorry for everyone watching. I did something really cool with my voice the other day that we found out is incredible because he couldn't. It's
incredible.
And it's not like pleasant. It's just interesting that I can do that.
It's incredible how you can clench and unclench your vocal cords
so
like that.
Quickly. It's like one of those things where when people can like do waves with their tongue or like put their hand.
Yeah, I don't know why people don't get impressed with shit like that.
Why, you got a lot of shit like that going on for you?
All the time. I'd be walking around the house doing impressive things with my...
That sounded personal when you said that. You're like, I don't understand why people don't get impressed by this shit anymore. They do. I'm constantly impressed by your
Are you?
vulnerabilities. Roko and I have such an interesting relationship. I inflict pain on him and he's okay with that.
That's crazy how you say that.
I have this like thing of like, I don't know why, like I have outbursts of like aggression.
Yeah. Chaos.
Of chaos. And if I'm not able to express that, I get frustrated.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why the gym is really good.
Yeah.
So like he lets me, like if I'm driving, I just want to like reach over and flick his ear, like, kind of thing.
Just allow it, huh?
Yeah. I just wanted to let you know that it's one of the many ways that I receive love from you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's what did you say the other day? That was one of your greater moments.
What did I say?
It keeps me young.
yeah, you're right. I was like, I know this is gonna sound really weird, but you keep me young.
Who says that? Keeps me young.
I was like, to be honest with you, can I tell you something? I know this sounds so funny, but you in particular do keep me young.
I hope so.
Like a lot of times, and
you keep me youthful.
I'm honest about this. A lot of times, like even though our friends in general are very like goofy and like young, youthful, and even our friends that are like older are very like youthful.
Yeah.
A lot of times I do look at them and think like, damn, I'm getting old. You know what I mean? But I never feel like that with you.
Yeah.
When I'm around you, I'm like, I could be like this forever. I'm like aging ain't shit. I could be like this forever. So I literally looked at him the other day and I was like, I know that this is gonna sound weird, but you keep me young. I was like, thank you. You keep me young.
Keeps you young.
Do you want to talk about something really sad before we leave?
Well, we gotta leave, man. I'm just getting comfortable.
Trying to run away. I wanted to talk to you about a couple other things too.
What's up?
You've known me. You've known me. Sorry. You've known me. I have moments like that where like my tongue isn't tonguing.
Yeah.
Pose.
I have moments where my language isn't languaging.
Oh yeah, today when we're driving in the car on the way to come here and do this podcast, he looks at me. I swear to God, guys, serious as fuck too. He looks at me and he says, what if I forget to speak English?
It happens.
And he didn't mean this as if like, what if I forget to speak English and I speak Farsi? He meant like, what if I can't speak?
Yeah, it happens. There's a high chance it would happen.
That you forget to speak English?
I forget to speak.
How anxious are you?
Huh? I'm dead anxious.
Are you? Let me touch your palms.
Calluses.
Oh, they're flaming hot.
Flaming hot palms.
Wait, I was going to ask you something. Oh, yeah, okay.
Talk to me.
So you've known me since high school.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like, I will say this for the record, because I tell you this before, but I'll tell everybody now. Part of the reason why, so Roko and I have been friends for many, many years. We met when I was talking to Matab about this the other day. Actually, I should tell you this. I don't think you knew this when we met. But Roko was always my one friend. When we were in high school and we met, I was new to their school basically, and he was already friends with our friend group. Like they knew each other from junior high. So I was walking into that friendship. They were all already friends. And we all became very close, and like we ended up being friends for years after that. Yeah. But Roko and I, and obviously we're a lot of people, so everybody has their own dynamics with each other also. Excuse me. Roko and I were always like distant friends. Yeah. Like we were like, if there was a fight, I'll jump in the fight for you type vibes, but like we're not hanging out every day and talking every day kind of thing. There was things we bonded on, like music and stuff like that. We were like, which is dope. Yeah, we used to like write like and show each other like our like our poetry and stuff like that. So that brought us closer, but like we weren't like this, right? But surprisingly, me, Rom, and Omid, which was on the podcast, we ended up staying friends the longest. Yeah. The longest out of everybody. Yeah. I got to a point, and even the like staying friends part, we lost touch at some points, whatever. Yeah. But then we came into each other's life at one point, like a few years back, in like a major way in which like we became super close. Like now I see you every single day. Yeah. Every single day. You have a key to my house. Yeah. Nobody, not even my mom, has a key to my house. He just walks in whenever, like, you know, like we're that tight. Yeah. But for me, there was a point where I realized, I was like, I looked at you and I was like, I think this is not the only friend other than my mom. I was like, I think this is the only person in the world that understands me and fully accepts me for me. Like, and when I say understand me, not even the version of me that I put out. Yeah. Understands like my, like, even the unspoken parts of me, you know? And even back in high school, there was a point where like I wasn't like a very enjoyable person to be around. And I remember our friend group kind of, which to be honest with you, if I'm being honest, they did the right thing because that changed me. They kind of like shunned me away from the friend group where they were like, we don't want to associate with you anymore. I was just not a pleasant person to be around. And that was a defining moment for me because I remember I was like, I really loved these friends and I need to get my shit together because I don't want to lose my friends. And I remember the only person, even back then when we weren't close, that like made it a point to still talk to me and be like, when you fix up, I'm still here to be your friend, was you. And I was talking to Matab about it, and I don't know if you knew this or not, but at the time when I met you guys, I had just come here from Iran. My parents had just like had the most messy like separation. I had just reconnected with my mom after years, and it wasn't like a smooth connection. It was like a very rocky relationship that I was like navigating with my mom. I was completely new here. It was high school, which makes it a lot harder because like you don't have any friends or any connections or anything like that. And I remember like I was really, really going through it. And I know that like I wasn't like a pleasant person to be around, but I did want to be a pleasant person to be around. I just didn't know how because I was so like frazzled with everything that was going on in my life. But I say that to say this, I really genuinely to this day like appreciate you for always like seeing me as who I am and not like the way that I act sometimes. Which goes back to cancel culture too, because fuck, sometimes people do fucking weird shit, bro, but it's not who they are. It's just you catch them in a moment of weakness, you know?
Honestly, my first impression of you, I've told you this. Yeah. It's like, so you say you come from that, and then I saw you, I saw like, my first impression of you was like, because we used to have this thing with our friends, we wanted to like talk about people as pussy
everyone
shit, but
does this. Everyone does this.
Yeah, but like we were young, you know what I mean? Like we were 14, you know what I mean? So we used to put like code names so they don't understand we're talking about them. The code name we put for you was Sunshine.
Oh, that's such a cute like.
Yeah, Sunshine. You know why? Because like you were smiling, you were vibrant. So just knowing that that's where you came from and you're so vibrant, you had such a big smile, that's who you are. And I love that because shit, I draw strength from that.
Oh, thank you. I
I
was definitely in like my, probably like one of my darkest like periods of like, you know.
And even later, man, like later, like you saw me, like, and you were the first person who saw me and like wholeheartedly believe in me, which is rare. You know what I mean? That's like a feeling that I got like firsthand. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's crazy. I felt like I'm on top of it, you know?
Can I tell you what I think personally about the way that I am with you?
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, and I'm just going to be honest, I think I understand you the best out of everyone in our group of friends.
I can.
And the reason why I say that is because, like, I come from a background of, like, nothing soft. Like, everything was, my life was very much, like, very aggressive, very fast, very, like, you know, like, I was never, like, coddled or, like, whatever. Like, nothing was ever gentle in my life. You know what I mean? So, like, I got to a point where like I looked for, I craved, and I respected, and I like admired like softness. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of people, the way that you approach things, I feel like they take like your kindness for weakness almost. Yeah. You know, but because I'm not from that background, I see your kindness and like your softness and your like the way that you have a delicate approach to things, or even the way that you have a delicate way of wording things and just going about everything. Even like how slow you are, no matter how much I tell you, it pisses me off. Just how soft you are towards life. I find that to be like so fucking badass and so motivated. Like I look at that and think like that's what makes you a gangster in my eyes.
Appreciate you.
You know, that's what I bond with you over, because I'm like, yo, like in our own totally different ways, we're both really fucking thick-skinned. Yeah. You know, because you gotta be a fucking thick-skinned motherfucker to approach everything and everybody in the softest and most kindest fucking way. You know? So I learned a lot from that, and I appreciate it. I told Ali too. I was like, Roko teaches me patience, and then he was like, does he teach you patience? He's like, does he teach you patience because he's patient, or does he teach you patience because he does so much annoying shit? Both. Literally both. It's really funny, but yeah. So I really appreciate you for that too.
God bless you.
This is just us fucking chopping it up. I can't stop playing with the microphone. Mm-hmm.
It kind of sounds good on the headphones.
Yeah, it sounds. Everything sounds blessed.
I feel like I'm in the booth right now.
ASMR. You know who needs to do an ASMR? Belly. I got a new puppy like not too long ago. He's a 3-month-old English bulldog. Blah. And his name is Belly Bean. His first name is Belly. His middle name is Bean. Yeah. We call him Gubele. He's a good belly. But he has the sickest ASMR. He just makes these sounds with his mouth where he's like or like when he eats his food. It's so funny. Or when he snores.
Oh my god.
It's so cute, but yeah.
It's a loud snore.
Yeah, he does have a really loud snore. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, before we leave, I was gonna ask you, what is your opinion of my, like when I first told you I wanted to start a podcast, and I told you the idea of like my podcast, what was your, like what void did you think I was filling with this podcast? Because everything you do is basically filling a void. Like it's not a bad thing. Like
our truth. Yeah, because this is the spot where we can be like fully, like I feel like this is the first spot where we can just be ourselves, you know, be ourselves in front of a camera, have a regular old Tuesday conversation, regular old Tuesday conversation, and I want to implement more of that into my like content creation or whatever, but honestly, this is where this is the void you filled up, because the world's missing out, man. The world's missing out on our energy. Yeah. So it's like, and this is as truthful as our energy could get. So that's
that was part of the reason why I wanted to do this podcast.
Truth, you know?
Yeah. You're right. That is part of the reason I wanted to like expression of like being vulnerable. That's why I even named it like Inside Out.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, my name is like Dunya, which essentially in Farsi means universe. And like that was the concept of like Inside Out universe is really just like a challenge to like be myself and be inside out and be completely vulnerable with everybody. Like you guys are my guests, and to hopefully encourage everybody to do that. But another thing that was really important for me is like, you know how you go through social media and you constantly compare yourself with people and stuff like that, and that sends you into like a dark place sometimes. I would really, really like to see more regular people being praised for doing regular shit. You know what lovely. I mean? But that's what like last time, like obviously I have to redo the podcast, but last time I had 6 a.m. here, I was telling him the same thing. I was like honestly, I was being so vulnerable with him. I was like, there were so many times in my life where I like felt lost. Like I'm like I was, you know, like just being absolutely like super vulnerable or whatever. And then we invented this term that was like, I'm naked right now, which is like when we would say things that was like too vulnerable. It was like, I'm naked right now. So like that's kind of like the vibe of like, even when I said it, I felt like I felt my body like tense up when I talked about like just private or like things that are like not things that you generally share or are not trendy or are dark and too sad for social media or too whatever, just inappropriate or taboo in any kind of way. But it's rejection therapy.
It is, man.
I want to get good with being vulnerable. I want people to have whatever they have to say about whatever I share. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I've lived so much of my life keeping so much of me bottled up inside because I've been worried about like how people are gonna interpret what I'm saying or how people are gonna digest me as a person. Because you know this, like I said, you know me the best out of everybody. Like I have such a polarizing personality,
which is beautiful.
Yeah, but I'm also not the most PG person. I'm not the most easily digestible person. I'm a very complex human being in certain ways of like, you really have to give me time to. But I'm like wine. You gotta let me. I get better with age. You know, you gotta let me like grow on you.
Yeah, but no, I feel like the human inside you is making it digestible.
I'm a dog.
You're a dog. That dog in you is making this digestible.
What do you mean the human inside me is making this?
So you're saying you're a complex person, like hard to digest, but I feel like that person is whose mission it is to make this digestible. You know what I mean? You're like you're creating that.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind.
It's not watering it down. It's just like, I feel like it's the next level of evolution. It's like, you want to talk to a 3-year-old, sometimes you gotta change your language, not the message. You know.
That's true.
So I feel like it's part of growth.
You know how like older siblings do their younger siblings a favor in that well, you don't know because you don't have siblings, and that's really sad. You suck. Anyways, no kidding. But older siblings are like known for like, they pave the way for their younger siblings, so they make the parents okay with certain things. So if you have an older sibling that's like super super square, you're screwed because your parents are gonna have similar expectations of you. But if you have an older sibling that like was a rebel and did everything or whatever, then when it comes time for you, they're more lenient. They've seen it all. Like it's not anything whatever. I've always thought that I would be that kind of a person in my life, which is like, I want to pave the way for other people to just be not one-dimensional. You know what I mean? I want people to, because like I'm a person who like went to law school. I did the traditional graduate, get a job, go to school, whatever. But then I'm also someone who's like artistic and who does these kinds of things, despite the fact that so many people tell me not to. And I always say what I mean, or you know what I mean? It's like, and I want people, and I want to show more of that polarizing side of me, because I want people to understand that like, this is what people are actually like. It's just social media won't allow you to see that.
What it takes to be me. I feel like
I should write a book.
What it takes to be me.
Book. Would you ever write a book?
Yeah, I would
If
love
you wrote
to.
a book and I was in it, how would you? What would
Describe
what
you?
would my character be?
This is a fictional or non-fiction book.
Doesn't matter, whatever you want.
Yeah.
It just can't be a porno.
God damn.
Yeah, like, that changes everything.
But
I can't be a dog.
can't be a dog.
No.
Not a dog head either.
No, not a doghead. My name in his phone is Doghead, and his name in
Doghead.
my phone is Stupid.
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 You're-
It's not stupid. It's stupid.
Stupid.
But yeah.
Yo, stupid.
Yo, it's stupid.
What would your character be in my book?
Mm-hmm.
Other than yourself?
Like what? Like describe that character to me.
First
What
of all,
would you emphasize in that character?
So I'm writing a book about my life.
Sure. And I'm in it. But obviously when you write books and you have characters in it, you emphasize certain parts and you don't really emphasize other parts. What are the parts of me that you would emphasize?
Shit. Authenticity, man. You're real as fuck.
Thanks, dog.
Come on.
I would.
There's more. There's a lot more I would emphasize, but like
My main one that I would emphasize is honestly just being a fucking pure ass human being. And I don't say that lightly. Like I feel like sometimes when I say that to you, you don't really, that doesn't resonate with you the way that it resonates with me because you are pure, so you don't really understand what I mean by that. But like I feel like some part of your essence has to be really closely tied to God for you to be that good of a person.
well, if you see it, then you have it in you.
So, because being a good person comes so naturally for you. There's like not a selfish bone in your body, which is so fucking weird. Because even me, despite the fact that I'm like, oh, I really want to be there for everybody, I want to help everybody. I'm not gonna lie, I have super selfish moments. I have like, I have moments where I'm like not exactly aligned with everything that like I believe in. But I've never seen you gear away from things that you're aligned with. Ever. Other than when you weren't going to the gym. That didn't make sense to me.
That didn't make sense to me either.
Yeah, other than that,
No,
you've
man,
always...
like honestly, I strive for that too. I strive for that. So I fight my other side. Like the polar opposite of that, I have it in me. It doesn't align.
Feed it?
Yeah, it doesn't align with me. That person doesn't align with me, so I try not to feed it. So
this is your core.
Yeah, and when it comes, I'm like, you know how like you just have to let pain pass. Like you get a pain, sometimes you just have to realize that like there's nothing I could say or do that would make this pain go away, other than just giving it time. Sometimes that's what it is. Like I sit with my thought, and there's some deep part of me that's like, that's not you. So I have to let those demons pass. So there's a lot of it's kind of like social battery if you want to make it digestible, but a lot of my social battery like runs out when my head gets too crowded, and like there's a lot of these demons in my head per se. So I have to take a break, and then you're like, okay, you're in a bad place right now. So get your ass in your room and
yeah, I can tell when you're in a bad place.
Yeah, recalibrate.
And I hate it.
Yeah, recalibrate.
I'm so impatient when it comes to you being in a bad place. I'm like, bro, fucking just get over it so we can just fucking laugh and go on our fucking adventure. Yeah, we have. I invented a word. I give myself credit for that. I really
100%. That's all you.
I was like, where we have a word where I'm like spicy lows, which means like you're in a dark place, but you're motivated to get out of it.
Yeah, you can't wait to get out. So
it's like spicy lows. So sometimes I'll text them and I'll be like, spicy lows.
Yeah, but you can't wait to get. But that's an interesting place to be in.
I like spicy lows.
Yeah, because you're vicious for the right things.
I'm vicious for everything. I have rabies.
That's rabies. That's the sound of rabies. I
feel like the experience that we recently went through also, like, super brought us closer to.
100%. As bad as it was.
To be honest with you, the fact that you went through it with me, as much as I feel bad that you had to experience that, it made it so much, like, better on me. It made it a lot easier on me because I was like, there's someone out here that's feeling the exact same way that I'm feeling.
Yeah, there's no one like you that I wanted to be around, because there's only one person who understood.
Same.
You know, and
wait, before we keep going about this, I think we should preface what we're talking about.
Yes.
So he's still here, just not in the physical form. I have a dog named Mr. Carter, President Carter.
Mm-hmm.
And he was 3 years old, and he recently passed from basically the negligence of his vet.
Yeah.
And he was very, very, very close with Roko. And when I say close, I mean like to a point where like when I saw the bond that they had, I was like, okay, it's clear that I'm his mom and Roko is his soul person. Like, that's Roko's, like, soul dog, you know?
Yeah.
And it was, for anyone who has a dog, you would know what this means and how extreme this bond would have had to be for me to say this. But it got to a point where I told Roko, because he has roommates, I was like, if you get your own place, I will let you take Carter to stay with you. Obviously, I'll still come see him every day because we're together every day. But I'll let him come stay with you. And, like, as dog owners, like, people who are dog owners, you'll get how big of a thing that is, you know. But that was just because like they had the same colored eyes, they had the same skin allergies, they literally looked like each other. It was the craziest thing. Obviously I didn't know this when I got him, but afterwards I was like, this is insane. And he had a moment with Carter where when I brought him, where he looked into his eyes and
I hugged him up and he talked to me, and it was like, ain't no way you won't be in my life. Like you would have to be stupid to walk out.
He called for him to basically be in his life.
He called me. He's like, I would be mad at you if you're not in my life. And that's deep because, like, you know. That's deep.
So he used to come every day and, like, spend time with Carter and take him for walks and on adventures. And we used to take them hiking every Sunday because I have, like, another dog, too, Sophie, which is my little Dachshund. And he recently passed, and that was like a really traumatizing thing because on top of the fact that obviously he passed and we both are still mourning that, Roko had to deal with like the physical aspect of it, in the sense that like he was staying with Roko at the time this happened. Roko killed him. Sorry, I just had to throw that.
I don't say nothing about Sophie.
Sophie's a prime suspect. But anyways, so he had to deal with that aspect of it too, and that part was so traumatizing. And I'm really sorry that you had to experience that. But honestly, like, I'm so glad that you were there to, like, share that with me, because I don't even know, like, what I would have done if we hadn't both been dealing with it. But yeah, that was a crazy thing. We won't say much about this situation. Maybe you know what, because we're getting to the end of the podcast. Initially, when we filmed the podcast, the 30 minutes that went unrecorded, we told the whole story. I do want to tell the whole story still. We agreed that like we're gonna tell the story, but I don't want to tell it now. It's the end of the podcast. I don't want to leave it off on that note. So we'll do another podcast or another video or whatever. And we'll tell the story of what happened, because it's quite a story.
Yeah.
But all I'll leave you guys with is that if your dog is vomiting for any reason, I don't care if it's they ate a blade of grass, if they're whatever, if they're vomiting for any reason and you take them to the vet, get them an IV. Tell your vet, even if your vet doesn't recommend it, like in that particular moment, ask your vet and be like, can I get an IV for my dog? I want to get an IV for my dog. Because what happens is a lot of times when you're caught up addressing the situation as to why your dog is throwing up, dogs get dehydrated like that, you know, and especially from vomiting so much and things like that. So you want to make sure that if they're throwing up, you're getting them an IV so that they stay hydrated. Their organs are hydrated. But anyways, so we'll leave it at that with that topic.
Yeah.
And Sophie is a prime suspect in my other dog, my Dachshund, my weenie dog.
Because she smiled.
Is Sophie. And she's a prime suspect in Mr. Carter's death. And the reason for that is because after Carter passed, they were together when this happened, but we weren't there. We were at a cottage trip when this happened. And when Carter passed, Sophie obviously didn't pass, so I was like, kind of fishy, you know? So then if it was anything that Carter had ate or anything, it would have also affected Sophie. So I'm like, how come you're alive, but he's not, you know? Yeah. So she was in my bed one time, and I looked at her, and I was interrogating her. I shined the light and everything in her eye. And I was like, Sophie, tell me the truth. Did you kill Carter because you were jealous of him? She looked at me, and she always has this, like, smile. She smiled, and she looked at me from the corner of her eye, like that. And then she jumped off the bed and proceeded to run into my ex-boyfriend's bag and was looking for his car keys. This little weenie wanted a getaway car.
She would have driven away, man.
Driven away.
Damn.
She totally would have driven away. She would have. She was looking for a getaway car.
Spad.
She's like, they're onto us.
She's a great driver.
Yeah, for sure. She can reach the gas pedals and everything.
And she has a inner GPS because she examines 360.
Yeah, she does. If she's in the car, she's always like her head spins the whole way.
Yeah.
And
she can spin her head 360. It's a very interesting creature.
I want to buy you a lion.
Like a real lion?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I want you to move down to Florida and own a lion.
I just want to live with him.
I want you to be the next Tiger King.
Lion King. Imagine some lion puts some deposit and buys me. Would you be sad?
See, this is the type of insane shit that, like, you gotta be on acid for this type of shit. Like, this is crazy. If a lion put a deposit on you,
would you be sad if a lion like put it?
Who gets the money?
My pimp. I have someone who sold me.
Is it like
someone sold me to a lion?
Can your pimp be a giraffe?
Hey, I have a lot of people.
It depends on who your pimp is. I wouldn't be mad if I like your pimp.
Yeah. What if my pimp was like an angry monkey?
So like Allie. Sorry. Yeah, no.
No, you wouldn't be happy?
No.
Would you pay more to cancel that transaction?
To get you back? Yeah. Hell no.
Alright, so I'm going.
I'd come throw tomatoes at you at the zoo. I'd laugh at you. Like, ha ha ha. You're a lion. You could have been anywhere doing anything. You could have been in the safari hunting and
imagine they have me doing the hunting. Like they buy me and then they just send me out to do the hunting.
Oh wait, you're not a lion?
Nah, the lion buys me.
You. Yeah, but you're not a lion.
No.
But do you go to the zoo? Oh my god, it's a zoo with humans and the animals come by.
Yeah, like we're the pets.
Oh.
Like they domesticate us in their wilderness.
Yeah, but I'm an upper echelon. I'm an upper echelon.
Usher Pentalon.
upper. This is how you know I'm not that.
I'm an upper echelon shalander.
Upper echelon.
Upper echelon? I feel like it's upper echelon.
That sounds like an enchilada.
Enchilada. Can I get an upper enchilada? No, we only have the lower ones.
I feel like Ali's gonna watch this and get mad at both of us.
Yeah, jeez.
Sorry, guys. We sometimes get into like nonsense.
Sorry.
Nonsense is our favorite.
Nonsense business.
Nonsense is the game, and
it's the beeswax.
The feeling is shame.
Nothing.
Shame.
Shame on you.
Nonsense is the game, and the feeling is just pure shame.
Pure doo-doo.
Doo-doo. Do you think that I will ever? What kind of a life do you think I'll have? What kind of a life do you envision for me?
I feel like you would. I feel like you have a farm.
Yeah. I live on it?
Yeah, you own the farm.
But I live on it, or is it like an investment?
I feel like you grow your own food. No, you live on the farm.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like you have a farm, you grow your own food. I feel like you have a bunch of cows and chickens and dogs and animals.
Absolutely.
Like a nice little wooden house.
Yeah.
With like, you know,
like
fresh food. Yo, fresh food.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I'm a good cook, right?
Yeah, you kill it. You should spend more time doing it.
Yeah, I used to
because
cook
you have a signature seasoning.
Thank you. Yeah, I do. It's like that Cajun like
some. I can't put a word to it. It's some. But I do miss that taste.
Do.
Whatever. That was Cajun.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
But yeah, so I have a farm.
Yeah, you live in a nice.
Do I have kids or just dogs?
No, you have kids. You probably have the kids doing the farming and shit.
Oh no, it's a child labor situation.
Nah, you're there learning. You teach them.
Or that's what I tell the government that they're learning. But realistically, I take the things they farm and I sell them, and they
or you eat them,
and they sleep in the.
You eat all of it.
The kids or the the food or the kids?
The food, man. You eat kids too? I don't know.
This is a made up story, Roko. I could eat
this
kids
is real.
if we wanted to eat kids.
This is, you asked me, you asked me what I envision your life to be. So I'm telling you what I envision.
I just wanted to let you know that I'm very happy that you came on my podcast.
God bless you. I'm very happy you're happy.
I love you. So I think on this note of just nonsense, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, 30 million things, but shit.
I know that's what I'm saying. You and I could go forever, but hey, it's not gonna. I told Omid and them too. I really would like for you guys to come back and so to let people kind of get accustomed to let people relate to you and find themselves in you and grow with you type vibes. So I'd like to have you guys come back, and at that point we could obviously talk about the million other things that we want to talk about. But as for today, I think we had a really good conversation.
Inspired. Good time.
I fuck with that.
Lock it in.
So yeah, thank you so much for being on my podcast. Thank you even more for being a fucking dope ass fucking friend.
Likewise.
And for always keeping me grounded.
Of course.
Even though you're the most frantic, confusing person I've ever met in my life. I don't know how you keep me grounded.
I don't know either.
You're the most airy person I've ever met. You're the most flowy person I've ever met. Just goes to show you how ridiculously chaotic I am. To where you keep me grounded.
I do a lot to keep my ass grounded.
Thanks. I think we have a nice little balance.
Yeah, balance.
Balance.
I appreciate it every day.
Same. Let's interlock our toes.
Yeah, God bless. I have socks on, so it's not really.
Okay. I don't want to violate you without
violation.
Socks. You gotta have protection.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So thank you. I love you. Okay, guys, if you want to listen to Roko's music, which I highly recommend you do, not just for the artistic elements of it, but for the fact that you would be supporting a fucking dope ass human being all around. And that's what everybody should strive to do. Yeah. You can find his music on any platform, on Spotify and everything. And his name is Roko Santana. And that's what his Instagram is as well, if you guys want to follow him. Yep. And, let me know if you guys think that he's worthy of coming back. They're going to be everyone's going to be you're not worthy of coming back.
Imagine neither of us are worthy of coming back.
Roko for Inside Out Universe.
Yeah, it's outside in.
Roko for host.
Imagine they bash both of us. None of you guys should come back.
Imagine if Kobe and Sophie have to end up.
Imagine they
I think we should stop doing this before Aida fucking abolishes both of us. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you guys next week.
This is fire, man.
Thank
God
you.
bless.